All right, for our Chapter 7 review sheet, you may want scratch paper, especially if you write big, because you can see there's not a lot of room to work out. I'm able to write small so I can get everything on here. Number one, we are trying to determine out of these four options here, which of these four triangles is going to be similar to this one up above. So the first thing I'm going to notice here is that I have a right angle and then I have an angle over here that's marked congruent, which means the other triangle has to have both of those and it has to be the same angles. So what I'm seeing here, okay, I'm going through, well, I see both markings on here, so I'm going to bypass that for a minute. I see them here. On C, I don't see a right angle. Bye. That's not it. D, I see the right angle, but I don't see that other angle marked congruent. So I'm going to cross that one off too. Now, we need to make sure it's the same angle as well, which in this case, we can go about this a couple different ways. What I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to compare our side lengths, our small, our medium, and our large. Okay, so for A, I'm going to go ahead and take my small sides of both triangles, which would be the 5 and the 3. So I have 5 over 3. That is simplified. Can't simplify it anymore. I'm going to take my mediums, or my middles. I've got 12 over here my middle one is 5. Well, that's simplified. 5's prime. So we already don't have proportional sides here. So we can also go through and take a look at our large just for practice, taking our large sides of 13 and 12. And we can see that none of these are going to be the same, so these are not going to be similar. But we want to make sure we always double check. So very quickly I'm going to go through the small, medium, large on answer choice B. Small side, again, we had our 5 over, the small side over here is 15. This will simplify to 1/3. Our middle or medium sides, we have the 12 over, the middle one over here is 36. Well, 12 goes into 36 3 times, so we end up with this 1/3 also. Then if we look at our large sides, we had our 13 on top, and we had our 39 over here. Well, 13 goes into 39 3 times, so we also have 1/3. So we can then verify right here, answer choice B was correct. Okay? Number 2, I'm going to warn you right now, the answer choice is not there on the worksheet. On Canvas, it was added to the answer choices. So let's take a look at what's going on here. I've got several different sides. If I want to find the scale factor, I'm going to go from ABCD to PQRS, meaning PQRS is going to be the new. So when we find our scale factor, PQRS needs to go on top because it's new over old. ABCD will go on the bottom. Okay, remembering we have our scale factor, new over old or new over original. So with these sides, we need to find corresponding sides. So I'm seeing here that I have AB. Well, AB is the first 2 letters. So I need to find the first 2 letters. Do I have a PQ? That's BC, PS, Q. Nope. So we can't use that guy. All right. So let's check out here. We have BC. BC are the middle 2 letters. Let's see if we have a QR, the middle 2 letters over here. There's QR. So I'm going to use the BC and the QR. Remember that the QR needs to go on top because it is the new. So we put QR on top of 4. BC is going to go on bottom, and that's going to be a 6. This will simplify, divide both by 2. We're going to get 2/3. So as you can see, we have 3/2, but scale factor is new over old. So you'll need to look for the 2/3 answer on Canvas. Next, we're going to find the value of x dealing with these 2 triangles. So we're going to have to set up proportion, right? So I'm going to kind of write a little bit small over here, setting up my proportion. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this 18 from side AB, put it on top, and then I'm going to take the corresponding side on the other triangle. AB corresponds with JK. So we're going to have that 6 on the bottom. Then my other side, BC, my x minus 2, is going to correspond, well, we only have one other side, but BC will correspond with KL over here. So that 9. I'm going to simplify some stuff here so that I can work with smaller numbers, okay? Here I'm noticing that I've got 18 and I've got 6. Well, I can simplify this. 6 goes into 18 3 times. So if we divide both of these by 6, this will end up going to a 3, and this will end up going to a 1. So now I can just use, I don't have to multiply 9 times 18. I got 9 times 3. Even better. Also better is I really don't have to distribute here. It's x minus 2 times 1. Well, it's just going to stay itself. So we have x minus 2 is equal to, cross multiply here, 27. Then all we have to do is add that 2 that's next to the x to cancel it out, and x is going to end up coming out to 29. Answer choice D. Number 4, I love these. Now, I've said it before, because you can just draw an uppercase L to represent height and shadow. So here we have a 6-foot tall fence post. So tall is going to give you your height. So here I have 6 feet. Its shadow, which will be down here on the ground, the horizontal, is 2.5-foot shadow. So we need to make sure we put that as a 2.5. Then at the same time, a nearby clock tower, so here's our height of our clock tower and the shadow of the clock tower. It tells us it's going to cast a 35-foot shadow, so we need to make sure we're putting things in the right place. We want to know the height of that tower. So here we have right in front of us fraction bar equals fraction bar. We have 6 over 2.5, x over 35. So I'm going to rewrite that. 6 over 2.5 is equal to x over 35. Okay, do your cross multiplication. Pause it. Do it on your own, and then see if you got the right answer, because you're going to have to do this on your test. We're going to wind up with 2.5x will be equal to x times 35 is going to give us 210. We divide both sides by the 2.5, leaving x on its own. 210 divided by 2.5 is going to be 84. Look up here, we have answer choice D. Next, let's move over here and let's talk about these two triangles. Okay, we need to identify which parts correspond with which. Now, that way we can name them. The first thing I want to start off with, I want you guys to see, is angle L has a 90-degree angle, and over here we have Q. So these two, L and Q, have to correspond with each other. So if you find anywhere in here where all 4 of these have L as the first letter, so anything that doesn't have Q as the first letter on the other one is automatically out. So we get to cancel out 2 of them. Now, when we have a small triangle side of a big triangle and they're sharing an angle right here, that letter automatically corresponds with itself. So we now need to look at these two and say, which one has M in the same position? C has M in the middle on the first one and last on the second one. So this can't be it. But let's check B. M is in the middle on both of them, meaning M corresponds with itself. And that's exactly, so we don't even need the sides. All we needed were those angles to help us out. Number 6, we are taking a look and we're seeing some angle measurements, some side measurements. Now I've seen some students be doing this, saying, okay, well, 8 to 4, that's half, so let me take half of this, that gives me 3. We can't do that. We don't know if these are similar yet or not. What we see here, we cannot use anything. This is actually a process of elimination. We cannot use the sides, which means anything with sides is automatically excluded. But let's go ahead and make sure that we see if they are similar or not. Again, we've talked about this. Here we have a 90-degree angle and a 90-degree angle. So I have corresponding congruent angles. Here I have a 27 and a 63. Well, let me find this third angle over here using the Triangle Sum Theorem, because if that's 63, then we will have two pairs of congruent angles. So I'm going to take that 27 plus 63. I'm going to wind up, I'm sorry, not the 27 plus the 63, 27 plus the 90, and I'm going to wind up with 117. Now when I take that 117, subtract it from 180, I get that magical 63 degrees. So now I can say I have two pairs of congruent angles, so I do have my angle-angle similarity. Taking a look at number 7, we want CE. Okay, so we're looking for this little tiny part right here, CE. So I'm going to go ahead and place an X there also. Now there are a couple ways you can go about doing this. You can figure out what BE is and then set up a proportion. Or some students are going to say, okay, well I have 20 for DC and EC, I've got X for EC. I have the whole length of BC, so I could find the whole length of AC. So you have a couple different options, all right? Here I've seen most students like to go ahead and find this whole side, which would be 28. So then we can set up our ratio of the whole sides of the larger triangle. We have our 28 over the whole side over here, 35. This will be set equal to the little parts right here. Now we can't do X and 8. We have to keep with the corresponding parts. So then 28 went on top, so 20 needs to go on top. And we'll have that over X. I see simplifying here, okay? I can simplify the 28 over the 35. 7 goes into both of these. 7 goes into 28 4 times. 7 goes into 35 5 times. But I also see something else to make this even smaller. I see that 4 and 20 can be simplified, so I can make even smaller numbers. So here, I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, 4 goes into 4 once, so now I have 1 over 5. 4 goes into 20 5 times, so I have 5 over X. So now I can cross multiply 1 times X, giving me just an X, equals 5 times 5, 25. And bam, I have my answer right there. Okay. Now, number 8, we're going to take a look at finding FH, so that segment GH and segment DE are parallel. So FH, I'm going to put my X right here. And again, this is that great thing where I have my proportions staring right at me. 15 over 9 is equal to 10 over X. So I see different ways that I can simplify this one as well. I can simplify the 15 over 9, 3 goes into both of those, or I can simplify the 15 and the 10 because 5 will go into both of those. Either one is fine. Here I'm going to go ahead and simplify saying 3 goes into 15 5 times, 3 goes into 9 3 times. Well, hey, look, I got a 5 and a 10 up here I can now simplify. So I'm going to rewrite it down here. 5 is going to go into 5 once. 5 is going to go into 10 twice. So now I have 1 over 3 is equal to 2 over X. Again, you do not have to simplify. This just can make it a lot easier because look what I get to do now. Again, X times 1 is X. 2 times 3 is 6. There's our answer. Okay? Again, you don't have to simplify. You're just going to have to do some divisions, just a little bit, larger numbers. No big deal. So there is your page 1.